Okay. So yes, chapter one, as I mentioned last time, chapter one is called, what's the name of the chapter?
Arjun Vishad Yog.
Arjun Vishad Yoga. What does the word Vishad mean?
He was lamenting, but about
Yeah.
hurting his own people.
Yeah. So yes, it's Arjun Vishad Yoga. And so the chapter can be divided into sections. So what I'll do throughout the 18 chapters, I'll divide the chapters into sections. Well, not me. Other devotees have done that. I'm just following what they've done. We'll divide it into sections, and that will help you better grasp the chapter. It really helps me a lot to grasp the chapter well. So, for example, this chapter, the English name of the chapter that Prabhupada gave is Observing the Armies, right? So it's divided into two parts. Observing the Armies is up to verse 26. And the then the other section of this chapter is Arjun's reason for not fighting. So Arjun in total gives five reasons for not fighting. Okay. And we'll talk about those five reasons in detail as he goes through them. Observing the armies, coming back to the first section, the first part is preparation for the war. And who's preparing for the war? Who was the person who spoke most in the first 13 verses? 11, 12, whatever we.
Duryodhan.
Duryodhan, okay? Yes. And what was he doing? Give me a generic, like in an overall sense. I don't want specifics. Give me an overall sense. What was he trying to do? And let me see if I can ask somebody to speak. I want to do this. Kesha was telling me the last time that my class was very boring. So I'm thinking I'll try something new. Okay. Keshav, you want to start? You want to tell me what was Duryodhan trying to do?
He was trying to brag to Dronacharya about how the Pandavas' army was great and it had good fighters, but his army was way better.
Okay. His army was way better. That's good. Okay. Um, then if his army was better, what did Bhishma do at the end of the discussion? What did he do, and what was the effect on Duryodhan on that action? Who can tell me? Let's see. Let me see if somebody's there. Stanvi raised her hand. Yes, Stanvi.
He like blew the conch shell, like signaling like the war, like the start of the war, and that like showed like Duryodhana that he had like like that Bhishma was like behind him, and that like fueled his confidence.
Okay, so Bhishma
Huh?
was showing his support to Duryodhan. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, basically,
Okay.
in a sense.
So what do we think? Did Duryodhan's diplomacy work with Bhishma then? Or
No, oh, should
no?
I? No, no, no. I was gonna say, I mean, not really. I don't think it was like because of Duryodhana that Bhishma did it. It was because he was like tied to like
Yeah, he was tired of Duryodhan. What do you call it? Yapping, right? What's that word? Yapping?
yeah,
Yeah, yapping.
yeah.
So that's what he did. Oh, yeah, I see Saina has also raised her hand. Yes, Saina, tell me.
I think it was actually like, I think we talked about this last class, how he actually wanted to see Krishna protecting his devotees in action, because like Krishna made like big promises, and although he wasn't gonna like fight in the war, he kind of
Hmm.
wanted to see how Krishna protects Arjun and like ultimately leads him to victory.
Yeah, and what do you all think? If you have an understanding of Mahabharata, do you think Bhishma's desire was fulfilled? Did he see Krishna protecting Arjun?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, he did.
He picked up the Krishna picked up the chariot wheel to kill Bhishma, and Bhishma was so happy to see Krishna coming to kill him. And yeah, so his desire was fulfilled for sure. Yes. Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. So yes, we have an understanding of what has gone till now. So yeah, so that was the first section of for the or the sub or the section of the section of so observing the army first part, preparation of war is a part of that observing the armies. Now from So 14 to 20, there'll be signs of Pandava's victories. That's the second group. And then the third is, Krishna demonstrating himself as a Bhaktavatsala. So let's see what all we can cover today. But we can grow from there. I am hoping you all read the purports, at least the next 10 from 13 onwards. Is that a correct presumption? Or
Yes,
is that
Prabhuji.
okay? That's very good. So what we can try today is, I can ask you all to say what you thought about the verse and the purport that Prabhupada is giving us, and then from there, if there is anything missing, I can add something if I need to. But if you have got an understanding, we'll move forward. Okay, is that a good plan? What do you all guys think? No answers.
Yeah, I have just a comment, like
Mhm.
a contents of Gita summarized. Why they call chapter name Gita summarized? And then I was looking and look like it's a Sankhya Yoga. It's a whole
Oh,
chapter of Sankhya Yoga.
so Mataji, we are on chapter 1.
Second
We are
chapter.
not on chapter 2. We are doing chapter
Oh, I
1.
thought we were talking about.
No, we are on chapter 1.
Okay,
We
sorry
did,
about that. I thought we are.
yeah, we did up to verse 12 in the last discussion of chapter 1, and we will continue our discussion of that chapter as we move forward.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so just to give you, I'll just briefly give you an answer to your question. The English names Prabhupada gave them. He didn't just translate the names that were there in the Sanskrit. The Sankhya Yoga is the Sanskrit name. Prabhupada translated into English
Right.
because when Prabhupada was writing the Bhagavad Gita, he had to make it contextually relevant for the Western people. Right? So that's why he was writing it with them in mind when he was writing the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada was translating it. Also, Prabhupada also took
Right.
many names from earlier acharyas. For example, the contents of the Gita summarized, specifically the second chapter, even Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given that name to the second chapter. So Prabhupada is aligning himself not only to the acharyas, but he's also aligning so that when he translates the Bhagavad Gita, it's acceptable or it's appreciable by the people who are going to read it in the Western world. So again, that's the brilliance of Prabhupada. Nobody can match that. That Prabhupada can bring the parampara, the disciplic succession, the value of that, plus also make it relevant to the current people who are going to read it now. That's why Prabhupada was giving names like these. Okay, so yes. So let's try to do what I was suggesting. This is verse 12 that we did. Okay, somebody wants to try 12, verse 12, verse 13. Read the verse. If you want to read the Sanskrit, very good. Reading Sanskrit has a completely different effect on our mind and intellect. If you're not doing it, you should always read the Sanskrit. If you keep on reading it, all these words will become very easy to you. So try reading it. There is a reason why Sanskrit was such a, it's supposedly the most advanced language in creation because it has direct effect on our mind and intellect also. So read the verse and give your thoughts on it. Somebody wants to volunteer for it, or do you want me to select somebody? Anybody wants to volunteer? Give it a try. There's nothing. Yes, go ahead, Mati.
I can recite.
Yes, go ahead.
Tata sankhyaśca bharyascha punavanak gomukha sahasvaiva vyahanta yanta sa abdastu mulo abhavat.
Okay. And so you read the translation also, Mati, and give us your thoughts. What do you think this verse is stressing about? Yes.
After that, the translation. After that, the conchs, bugles, trumpets, drums, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous, so loud.
Yeah. So
So the explanation is that all the councils, like Bhishma Dev and everybody is, it was so loud that the fear from Duryodhan, he was very fearful hearing that. And there is no purport of that.
Yeah, there's no purport to it. Yeah.
Slok don't have the purport.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. One thing
But
you all.
that's all I think of the concept.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. One thing I'm not sure if you all realize this when throughout the verses that Duryodhan spoke, he didn't bring out Krishna's name anywhere. He brought out Bhima and all those random people in that area, but he doesn't bring out Krishna's name there. And this shows his materialistic mentality. Right? We as human beings, being envious by nature, we want Krishna's kingdom. We want everything that Krishna has created, but we don't want Krishna in it. Right? Everybody in the world is hiding the source, as I would say, that we all come from Krishna. Nobody wants to talk about it. Because if people start talking about Krishna and they make Krishna the center of their life, they are worried, what about me then? Who's going to think that I am a great person? Who's going to glorify me? That's why Prabhupada has said that we all are envious by nature. We are envious of Krishna because we want glory. If there's a place where Krishna continuously keeps on being glorified, no, I also need some glory. And that's the mentality that Duryodhana is presenting. He's been speaking, and that all that speech is done for, but that he didn't even bring out Krishna's name even once. So yeah. But yeah, yes, all these conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were suddenly sounded. The combined sound was tumultuous. Yes. Okay, so the next 14th, who wants to read the 14th? And 14th has a purport to it.
I can go.
I can read.
Anyone, please go ahead. Julanyata, you want to try? Atil
Yeah.
Bilimata, you can do the next one.
Okay, no problem. I'll do the next Prabhu.
Okay. ततः श्वेतैर्हयैर्युक्ते महति स्यन्दने स्थितौ माधव पाण्डवश्चैव दिव्यौ शङ्खौ प्रदध्मतौ. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. So till now we were discussing about Duryodhana and his army, and before this we were talking about how his army started blowing their conch shells, drums, and they just mentioned that it made a tumultuous sound, talking about in response to Duryodhana's army, Arjuna and his army also blew their conch shells, and in contrast to Duryodhana's party, Arjuna's army's conch shells sounded transcendental, and that was because Krishna was on the side.
Okay. Any more thoughts? Anybody wants to add to it?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I can add a little bit to it. Upon hearing the conch shell, everybody was basically kind of like, okay, so I guess we're ready for the battlefield, right? For the war. And Bhishma grandsire said on the battle that to everybody that cover us army has various instruments, and the sound was very I guess loud, and also the Pandavas drums and kettles and everything that they blew was equally loud, but the Pandavas had Krishna on their side.
Yeah, Pandavas had Krishna on their side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's this very good use of a word called transcendental, right? It's Prabhupada is translated Divya Shankho. If you're a Divya Shankho, all the other things that the other people were blowing were not Divya. They were not transcendental. What Krishna and Arjun were blowing, that's transcendental. So Duryodhan Shankh was not transcendental, right? So this is clearly defining that, on one end is that Duryodhan, ill-minded, scheming, delirious guy wants to have a kingdom, and now suddenly it's like a movie going, right? The movie starts in a palace, an old blind king sitting and just listening to his servant describing what's happening in the battlefield. Then the movie director zooms into the battlefield and shows the villain's army, and the villain just trying to diplomatically handle the king, the important guys in his team. And then the heroes come of the movie, right? Madhav and Pandav, right? Krishna and Arjun, right? So now there's also a mention of white horses. Syandane, I think that's the word. No, Sandan is a chariot.
Purity from
Shweter Hair, that's white horses. So then now the focus is on the white horses, right? And who's driving the white horses? The most handsome guy of the team, Krishna.
Yeah.
Sham Sundar, Madan Mohan. And that's worth meditating upon. That's why, Prabhupada had this beautiful painting of Krishna and Arjun on the chariot, which is right. Well, it used to be on the older version of Bhagavad Gita, the blue one. Now we have a different picture, but you can look at that. So yeah. So then now that the focus is on the heroes, what do they do? Right? And if you notice that in this verse, it says Madhava Pandavaschaiva. So the name of Krishna is coming first. Even though Duryodhan is ill-minded and he didn't bring out Krishna's name, but Krishna is still the supreme, right? So when so even if somebody tries to remove Krishna out of the picture, that doesn't mean Krishna's position is lost or diminished. No, Krishna always remains Bhagavan. So in this verse, 14th verse, it's a very different conception of God, right? If you ask somebody is a God, what is God? God is sitting up high up in the sky. He has a lot of servants and he's just dishing out miseries and happiness and awards and whatever it may be. But then here we see a very different concept of Bhagavan, of God. He's coming as a charioteer, right? So Krishna is not sitting on a high moral cloud passing judgments on humanity. He's accepting the role of an assistant of humanity, right? And he's persuading humanity to choose a very moral course by outlining very logically and philosophically the choices available to us and their inbuilt consequences. As we go, you will see Krishna will keep telling you, do this is going to happen. You do this is going to happen, Arjun. And towards the end, then when Krishna finishes speaking, he says, Yathechasi tatha kuru. Now you do as you like, Arjun. And what does Arjun say? Karishe vachanam tava. I'll do as you told me, Krishna. So that's the important thing. So the role of Krishna is not being seen as Bhagavan, like the one sitting up high in the heaven. He's being shown as somebody who's really, really concerned about humanity. And he is giving his support in every way possible so that the humanity can make the right choices. Right? He's ready to be our charioteer. So, and you will be amazed that even when Srimad Bhagavatam starts, which is the next level, there also Krishna is introduced as a charioteer. It comes in the first canto, 7th chapter, towards somewhere, I think it's towards the middle of the chapter, 17th or 18th verse. There also Krishna is introduced as a charioteer. So That's the beauty of Krishna as Bhagavan, right? So yeah, some important thing here.
What's the importance of Shweta horses?
Well, the Shwetas, the white horses, right? The white color is always associated with piety and
I see.
purity. So that's what he's indicating his white horses. Right? Yeah. Okay. So the next verse is that. Oh, that's got a long purport. Okay. And if you have read the purport, I would request you to bring out things in the purport that you liked. It'll just help you understand the verse better. You want to try, Atil Veli Mataji?
Yeah, I will try my Sanskrit. I may have
Sure.
needs some help in there. Tata Sarveta.
No, we are doing 15th.
Oh,
15th verse.
15, not 14.
So we just did 14th, right?
No, we did 13, Prabhu, right?
Was it 13? No, we did 14th.
No, Prabhuji, it was 14. Mataji, we already read.
Oh,
Yeah, you're
okay.
15th.
So let me pull up 15. Hold on for a second. 1 second. Next. Okay. Okay. Sorry, Prabhuji. 15, Bhagavad Gita 1.15. Panchaya Harshiko Devatyam Dhanya Jana Pundarham. Sorry, Prabhuji. Dharmoya Mahasankram Bhima Karma Vikodayam. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajaya. Arjun blew his the Devadatta, and Bhima, the Varsurus and eater and performed of Hercules' task, blew his terrific conch shell called Pundara. Purpose. Lord Krishna is referred to as Harikesho in this verse because he is the owner of all senses. The living entities are part and parcel of him, and therefore the sense of the living entities are also part and parcel of his senses. The impersonalist cannot account for the senses of the living entities, and therefore they're always anxious to describe all living entities as senseless or impersonalist. The Lord situated in the heart of all living entities direct all senses, but he directs in terms of the surrender of the living entities, and in the case of the pure devotees, he directly controls the senses. Here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Lord directly controls the transcendental senses for Arjuna, and thus his particular name of Harikesha, the Lord has different names according to his different activities. For example, his name in Madhusurana because he killed the demon of the name Madhu. His name of Govinda because he gives pleasure to the cow and to the senses. His name of Vasudeva because he appears as a son of Vasudeva. His name of Dwarka, Devi Nanda because he accepts Devaki as his mother. His name of Yashoda Nanda because he awarded his childhood pastime to Yashoda and Vrindavan. His name of Sarthi because he worked as a charioteer of his friend Arjuna. Similarly, his name is Harikesho because he gave direction to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna is referred to as Dhanyantri
Dhananjaya.
Dhananjaya in this verse because he helped his elder brother in fetching wealth when it was required by the king to make expenditure for different sacrifices. Similarly, Bhima is known as Vakodra because he could eat as variously as he could perform Hercules tasks such as killing the demons, Hidamma. So the particular type of conch shell blown by the different personalities on the side of Pandavas, beginning with the lords, and all very encouraging to fight to the fighting soldiers on the other side. There were no such credits, nor the presence of the Lord Krishna, the Supreme Director, nor that of the Goddess of Fortune. So they were predestined to lose the battle. And that was the message announced by the sound of the conch shell.
Your thoughts, Mataji?
Yeah. So basically, the one thing that's clear that is, it says that because Lord Krishna was on the side of Pandavas, it is very clear that anytime Lord Krishna is on anybody's side, they will win. So that's the first thing, and the other things that was mentioned is that with the Lord of the mind and the senses, Sri Krishna, being the masters of the law of the mind and the senses, he could basically also be in the minds of the Pandavas, and so he's not in the minds of the Kauravas. He's definitely in the minds of Pandavas, and thinking about his uh, divine activities, one can control their mind and senses if you just focus on the Lord. And so by controlling the mind and the senses, the Pandavas will definitely take I guess victory to the battlefield.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here, different names of the conch shells are given. Okay. Krishna is Panchajanya, Arjun is Devdutt, Bhima is Pondra, right? And I mentioned this, that people are given names. Like Bhima is being called a voracious eater. He's called a Vrikodara. That's another name for Bhima, Vrikodara, right? So people are given names according to their activities. Right. So Udara, what does Udara mean? If somebody can tell me based on the first verse of Nectar of Instruction.
Udara means stomach.
Stomach, yeah.
Yes. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jibba Vegam, Udar Pasta Vegam. So the Udar is stomach. And Vikar is giant. So Vika Udara means a
Big
very
eater.
giant stomach. Yeah, a big eater.
Yeah.
He's a voracious eater. But the thing to understand is that he's not just about eating a large quantity.
He
So you
needs
can
it for his strength because of his
Yeah.
size.
Yeah, so some people might say that, oh, his senses were not under his control. No, that's not the thing. The senses are out of control for somebody who, when one sees good food, he becomes very hungry, but when the food is not palatable or tasty, the hunger goes away. That's lack of sense control. Bhima really needed a lot of food every time. He was consistent, right? And recently we had the Pandav Nirjal Ekadashi. The thought behind Pandav Nirjal Ekadashi is that was kept for Bhima, because it was very hard for Bhim to fast. And he went to Krishna and told him, Krishna, you're telling there are stories in the Padma Puran about different Ekadashis, and that's a discussion between Yudhishthira and Lord Krishna. And so when Pandav Nirjal Ekadashi was being discussed, Bhima goes to Krishna and says, Krishna, you've been telling Yudhishthira about all these Ekadashis. I cannot fast. I'm Vrikodara. So Krishna says, okay, fine, you don't fast on any of the Ekadashis except this one, and that will compensate for all the other Ekadashi. So if we fast on Pandav Nirjal Ekadashi without any water, Nirjal, then it can compensate for all the other Ekadashis, which if we have missed any, right? But don't take this as an excuse to not fast on Ekadashis. Please fast on Ekadashis. It's very beneficial for all of us. Austerities are for our benefit. Austerities help us focus our mind, purify us. Krishna doesn't want us to do austerities. We do austerities for our own purification, right? For example, when you're going to somebody's birthday party, you dress nicely so that you look well, So it's for us that we are doing it. So yes, so Bhishma is Vitodara, something to keep. Now, is another thing in here in this is Devdatta, right? Arjun's conch shell is called Devdatta. So Arjun, if you know the story, Arjun was during his exile. They were exiled to the forest. Arjun was preparing for the war, right? And he was praying to the demigods for help, right? So if you all know his quiver and his conch was given by Indra, and then somebody gave him celestial horses, and then I think Gandharvas gave him celestial horses, and the chariot was given by Agni, right? So he got a lot of extraordinary things, right? So his conch shell came from Indra. That's why it has the word Dev. Dev, it's coming from demigods, right? And his quiver had inexhaustible arrows. That was also given by Indra, his father, right? And then Prabhupada is giving a very good purport on Rishikesha. What does the word Rishikesh mean? And what does the word Dhananjaya mean? Prabhupada is covering both those aspects in the purport. And he's giving in details that how the Lord's name has a very specific meaning, right? And here, the use of the word Rishikesh is because Krishna, he's the owner of everybody's senses. So he is directing Arjun's senses in this position. So that is why he's being called Rishikesh here. And Arjun is being called Dhananjaya because he was able to collect a lot of wealth for his brother when the Rajsuya Yajna happened, before the war, before they went for the dice game and all that stuff. So all these are credits that the Arjun's team have, right? Whereas on the other end, there is nothing, right? And there is this very important verse which comes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where the importance of verse Rishikesh is told us. It goes as Sarvopadhi Vinirmuktam Yat Paratvena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktir Uchyate. Right? So what does bhakti? Sevanam bhakti. Devotional service. What does devotional service mean? Is engaging our senses in the service of the Lord. Right? So Rishikena Rishikesha. Using my senses to please Krishna, who is Rishikesh, the master of all the senses. Right? And when we do that, two things happen. Right? Sarvo Padhi Vinirmuktam. Padhi, Upadhi, everybody knows Upadhi, right? Designations. We have different designations in this world. I'm a mother, a father, a husband, a doctor, an engineer, scientist, whatever. We all have so many material designations. Those material designations, we are freed from them. Muktam, okay? But freedom doesn't mean that you lose them. Freedom means that you lose attachment to them. They lose that importance in your life, that value that immensely I had, because we always want to cling on to something. So we cling on to those upadhis that have been given to us. I'm born in this family, so my surname is this. I was born in a Hindu family, a Muslim family. I am given all these upadhis. When I connect with Krishna, I use my senses for service of Krishna. All these upadhis they fade away. I don't lose them. I continue to exist with them, but they don't hold that much importance for me anymore. Right? That's one thing that happens. Sarvopadhi vinurmuktam. Tat paratvena nirmalam. Right? So paratvena, right? Nirmalam means purified. So our senses become purified by employing them in the service of the Lord. So that's the value of the word Rishikesh. If you want to understand more, you can go and read the purport in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. I don't remember the verse number. It's somewhere in the 19th chapter. You can read that. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nilbaram. Okay. So Devdatta. So I'm just telling you all this because all these names might sound very commonplace to you. Oh yeah, fine. Krishna, Pranjanya, Arjun, Devdatta. but they have immense value behind them. They have a big story behind them, right? So, for example, Panchajanya, Krishna's, it's called Panchajanya. Panchajanya, and Prabhupada is telling that Krishna gets it when he goes and kills a demon. When he goes to look for his guru's son, Sandipani Muni's son, that's where he kills a demon called Panchajanya, who used to live in a conch shell. Right? So, okay. So, but you can sometimes, some people can ask you that, oh, if Krishna is Bhagavan, why is he getting material things to support him? Like, oh, somebody gave him the Panchajanya. Somebody, like, oh, you will all there's always a, you might not see it in Bhagavad Gita, but there are stories which mention that Krishna got his chakra from Parshurama. But Krishna's chakra is his own from eternity. It's not like somebody gives Krishna his chakra. No, that's Krishna. That belongs to Krishna. But what happens is that when to establish, right, just to present it that way, right, that okay, yeah, this thing is coming from it. So when Lord comes, all his others part and paraphernalia, they come and connect with him in different ways. It's not like he's getting them for the first time, but some way or the other they come and connect with him. So it's just a way by which they are coming to Krishna in this lifetime. Don't think that, oh, Krishna got his conch shell from this demon Panchajanya. No, it was always Krishna's. Just in this Leela, when Krishna was executing this Leela, the Panchajanya was presented as if coming to him in this way. Otherwise, it's been his forever, right? So don't think that way, right? All these things are eternal associates of Krishna in Goloka. But then there is a story of how each of those paraphernalia come to him. Right? All his paraphernalia meet him in different ways at different particular times. Right? For example, Radharani is an eternal associate of Krishna in the Goloka. But when they're born here, Sanatana Goswami gives the story how Radharani is born, and you all must have heard it, right? That Krishna goes and then for the first time Radharani opens her eyes, and so there's a story. So it's not like Radharani and Krishna met in this world for the first time. No, they were eternal associates. So keep that in mind. So it's Krishna is Bhagavan. Never come to the thought, oh, Krishna got his Panchajanya in this life. No, that never happens. Okay. There was a hand raised or something, or a comment. I didn't see that. If anybody wants to speak up.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I had a quick question. So since Parsuram is also is a avatar of Vishnu Bhagwan, right? So
he's
him
avatar
giving
of Krishna, not Vishnu.
Okay. Yeah. So he's avatar of Krishna Bhagwan. So he's giving gift to himself. It's almost like that, right?
That's what I was saying, right?
Yeah.
It's not who's giving what situation, but you have to understand that all these things, all these paraphernalia are eternal associates of Krishna in the spiritual world. Yes, there is a story behind how in this particular era, Krishna wants to show people that, oh, this is how I'm getting it. But eternally, they are Krishna's part and parcel. Yes, so it can come from anywhere, right? So that's fine. Was there anything else? Was there a comment or something? Yes. Okay. So I explained that. Anything else? No. This was. Yeah. And so yes. So these things are important. As I was saying in the last discussion, try to get into the verse and purport and try to see what Prabhupada was thinking. Obviously, we cannot think like Prabhupada, but we cannot put in that effort that Prabhupada put in to write these books. At least we can put in some effort to read those books with attention, so that we can get some aspect of what Prabhupada was thinking when he was writing the purports, when he was translating them. So that helps us get deeper into the Bhagavad Gita. And the deeper you go into the Bhagavad Gita, the more it reveals itself to you, and the more pleasure you will achieve from it. And then let me ask this question to you, and I'll see who I want to answer. Let's see who's there. The kids have been very active. Vrinda, are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, can you tell me, why did Krishna blow his conch shell if he was not fighting? Give it a try. I'm not saying that there has to be a right or wrong answer. Just give it a try. Whatever thought comes to you, give it a thought.
Sorry, my mute thing wasn't working. Sorry. I think he blew his conch shell so that Duryodhana would probably like get scared, or not scared, but like so that he knows that like it's not really easy to like have victory
Yeah.
over like.
Yeah, I understand that. Yes, for sure. Duryodhan was scared after he heard those tumultuous sound from Arjun, Bhima, and Krishna's conch shell. I'm trying to understand more as to why would Krishna blow his conch shell if he's just a charioteer, because no other charioteer was blowing his conch shell. So there is something special about it that Krishna is blowing his conch shell.
Yeah, he's announcing
No,
the
I
beginning
want Vrinda to answer. I want Vrinda to answer. Let her try. Everyone, please.
Okay.
And just give it a try, Vrinda. I'm not putting you on a spot. Just give it another thought. If you don't get it, then we'll move on. If you want to give it another shot, try it. Otherwise, I'll move on.
Maybe because he's Rishikesha, he's the owner of all the senses, so like he directs like all the senses of the living entities also, and so they have to like in the battle he controls, like in the battle that's why he controls the senses of Arjuna also.
That's good. Yeah, you've come very close. Actually, that's what it is. So if I put in words what you have just said in a different way, Krishna is the leader, right? He's the leader of everybody's senses there. And what he is doing by blowing the conch shell, he's asserting himself as the leader. He's asserting himself as Rishikesh in that place.
Okay.
Yes, Mata, you want to say something? Please go ahead.
No, he's agreeing with the
okay.
war. That's
Yeah.
what.
So Krishna is Rishikesh, and he is asserting to everybody that I am Rishikesh. And that's why this sound of Panchajanya, we'll read it later on, is going to shatter the hearts of all of Dhritarashtra. Why? Because Krishna is conveying that message through his conch shell, that I am the leader. I am Rishikesha. You cannot defeat me. You cannot defeat my loved ones also. Right? And this might sound a bit pompous or arrogant of Krishna. Oh, why are you establishing yourself as a leader? But that has to be done in a society which is very misdirected. Sometimes leaders have to come and assert themselves as leaders and tell them that I am the leader here, right? I'll give you an example. If you all go to Calcutta, you should all go to Prabhupada's birthplace. ISKCON has acquired that place and they have developed it very nicely. There is that jackfruit tree under which Prabhupada was born. It's still there. Behind that jackfruit tree in the wall is a letter that Prabhupada wrote to one of his disciples. And in that letter, he was saying that this birthplace of mine should be established as a tirtha. And that sounds so arrogant, right? Why is this sannyasi wanting his birthplace to be secured and established as a tirtha? And so I asked my spiritual master, who was there at that moment, and I asked him, why did Prabhupada write that? And Maharaj told me that one of the services of the acharya is to establish himself as an acharya. Even though it's very hard for a pure devotee, a humble devotee to establish himself as a, but then for the welfare of the society, the acharya has to establish himself as an acharya. So Krishna, by blowing his conch shell, is establishing himself as a leader, even though Krishna doesn't want to do that, but he has to do it so that all the people in the opposite army know that you are making a grave mistake. Right? I am here, I'm going to win this battle, and I'm establishing it right here. So that's the importance of why Krishna is blowing his conch shell, even though he was not fighting. Well, Vrinda, good job. You hit the nail right there. Thank you. Okay, so that was this verse. Then we have 16 to 18. Somebody wants to try 16 to 18? Small purport. Anybody? Any thoughts? Give it a try.
I can decide. Can I?
Let's give chance to somebody else also, Mataji. You did one verse. Let me
Can
see
you?
if anybody else.
I can do Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, sorry.
So,
Oh, I heard a couple of them.
Prabhuji, I can do it.
Okay, so I have Akshina Mataji, and then who else was there? Who else spoke? I missed that.
Me. Bharti.
There was, I know I heard Akshina Mataji and Pratyush. Who was the third? I don't know who's that.
It's me. Bharti.
Oh, yes, Bharti Mataji. Yes, okay. So you three. Okay, so Akshina Mataji, you want to take this one? You can go ahead. Then we'll jump. The next one we'll take Pratyush Prabhu and Bharti Mataji.
It's 16 and 17, Prabhuji.
Well, 16 to 18 are clubbed together, all three.
Okay. Okay. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthira Nakula Sahadevascha Sugosha Mani Pushpakau Kasyascha Parameshvasa Sikhandi cha Maharada Dhritarashtra Dyumno Viratascha Satyakischa Aparajita Drupado Draupadeyascha Sarvasaha Prithvipate Saubhadrascha Mahabahu Sankantadamu Pruthak Pruthak. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell. The Ananta Vijaya and Nakula and Sahadeva blew the Sugosha and Manipushpaka. That great archer, the king of Kasi, the great fighter Sikhandi, Drishtadyumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. Purport: Sanjaya informed King Dhritarashtra very tactfully that his unwise policy of deceiving the sons of Pandu and endeavoring to enthrone his own sons on the seat of the kingdom was not very laudable. The signs already clearly indicated that the whole Kuru dynasty would be killed in that great battle, beginning with the grandsire Bhishma down to the grandsons like Abhimanyu and others, including kings from many states of the world. All were present there and all were doomed. The whole catastrophe was due to King Dhritarashtra because he encouraged the policy followed by his sons. Hare Krishna.
Yes, your thoughts on this, Mataji? What do you think is being captured here? Anything that stood out for you? You feel is, and how do you connect it to the earlier verses? Anything?
Like Lord Krishna is on the Pandava side. All the Pandavas were jubilant, and all the conch shells. That sound was also tumultuous. Seeing the whole scenario, Sanjaya is informing Dhritarashtra whatever tactfully unwise policies, that deceiving the sons of Pandu, whatever you did, that is not going to help you. Like all these signs is directing that your side, the Dhritarashtra side, are going to lose the battle, and Pandava side are going to win the battle. That's what I felt.
Yeah. Can somebody share how was it? Prabhupada is saying Sanjay is informed King Dhritarashtra very tactfully. How is Sanjay informing this to Dhritarashtra from this verse, from these three verses? Anything that stands out as if Sanjay being tactful and also quoting his message, like sugarcoating his message, that the message that your sons are going to die.
So Prabhuji, he is addressing Yudhishthira Maharaj as king, as royal, as noble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that it just, although he's not announced king yet, he's already announced him as king.
Yeah. That's a very
Yeah.
good point. Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways that uh, Sanjay is doing. And if you remember in the second verse, or the second verse of this chapter, Sanjay also called Duryodhana a king. But then that time he was sarcastic. He's saying that, oh, your son wants to be king, so he's sarcastically calling him a king. But here, as you rightly put it, Mataji, that he's calling Yudhishthira a king again, right? So if he really thought that Duryodhana was a king, he wouldn't call Yudhishthira a king. And if he thinks Yudhishthira is a king, he wouldn't call Duryodhana a king. But if he's calling both of them kings, one of them for surely is being mocked at, and the other one is generally a king. So that's the way, yes. So um, he's being mocked in one way. That hey, yeah, your son wants to be the king. He mocked him earlier, but actually the king is going to be Yudhishthira. So that's how tactfully he's presenting it. Another thing that might not stand out but is here is the mention of the king of the great fighter Shikhandi, right? So the words that's used here is Shikhandi cha Maharatha. So Shikhandi was not like a very prominent member of that opposition part of Arjun's party, right? It's not like he was killing millions of soldiers or something. But the reason Shikhandi is being brought out, the backstory is that Shikhandi is going to kill Bhishma. So
No. Prabhuji, Dronacharya. No, Shikhandi, yeah. Shikhandi is, sorry, Prabhuji.
yes, Shikhandi is going to kill Bhishma. Because in the past life, Shikhandi was Amba. Out of the three sisters, Amba refused to stay back, and she said, "No, somebody else. I'm in love with somebody else, and that person also does not accept her." And then she goes and meditates, and then she leaves her body, thinking that next birth I'll come and kill Bhishma, and she comes as Shikhandi, and and then Shikhandi is the one who kills Bhishma. So that's another mention here, that you think Bhishma is unconquerable. That's what Dhritarashtra thought, right? Bhishma had the boon that he would die at his own choice. So if somebody has that boon, you'll think like, oh my God, that person can never be defeated if I can't kill him. But the mention of Shikhandi is to tell that no, you are going to lose this battle. So yes, those are some of the messages that are being given out here, right? And Sahadev's, Sahadev's name is here. Nakul. Sahadev was the one who killed Shakuni, right? The maternal uncle of Duryodhan, right? So
Mama, right, Prabhu?
Mama, yes. Everybody's ecstatic about the war. So, and we will see this. This is a very good example of Krishna will talk about speech in the 17th chapter, the austerity of speech. And he says that the speech should be pleasing, beneficial, truthful. And so he'll talk about those and not agitating. And you will see that how Sanjay is following those principles. We'll bring it up when we come there. Yes, Sandeep Prabhu.
Prabhuji, and also the way Sanjay is communicating to Dhritarashtra about this tactfully is kind of showing like with all these glorified, okay, the great warrior, right? So, like with great words like that. And in a way, it's showing like, what kind of people you are fighting with, they're all like great warriors. You're gonna create a situation where, the war, you're gonna lose a war, right? So I think there's another way. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. Yes. So, but then unfortunately, Dhritarashtra doesn't understand that. He's so blinded by his attachment to his son that all the warnings, he just threw them out of the window. Okay. And when we read the Bhagavad Gita, the last verses are by Sanjay. Mm-hmm. And those verses will clearly indicate the transformation that Sanjay has. But Dhritarashtra also heard the whole Bhagavad Gita, but no transformation on him. So please always, when you hear a Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada says this, at least when you're reading it, read it with faith. Right? We all put faith on so many things every day, right? You all go, probably you all catch flights, go here and there. You have so much faith on the pilot that he's not going to crash the plane. Right? when you let's say you're driving on the road, you have faith that other people are not just going to go crazy and bang each other. So when you put faith on so many things, why can't you put faith on Bhagavad Gita? So whenever you sit down and read Bhagavad Gita, have faith. Every single word of Bhagavad Gita is for my benefit. Is Krishna speaking directly to me? And Prabhupada, by his mercy, is giving me purports that are even clarifying it further. So at least when you read it with faith. That will you'll see it blossoming in front of you. The whole Bhagavad Gita will just open up in front of you. And you'll be so happy that you spent time with Bhagavad Gita. And believe me, the more you read it, the more it'll blossom. It will be like a flower that will never stop blossoming in your life if you read Bhagavad Gita every day. It's not like other books. You read it once and then it's boring next time. Okay. Who was doing the next one? Pratish Prabhu, you want to try 19th?
Yes, Prabhuji. Saghoshe dhritarashtanam hridayani vayadarata nabhascha prithvim cheva tumalu abhayanu dayan. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The blowing of this different conch shell became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the son of Dhritarashtra. So, Prabhuji, in this verse, the impact of the conch shell blown by Krishna and Pandavas is explained. The impact of that was so loud and ferocious that it not only impacted the basically Kauravas through sound, but also they become fearful, and then it is so clearly mentioned that their heart was shattered because the Dhritarashtra, basically Duryodhan was thinking they are gonna win this because they have all kind of all kind of preparation favoring them to win this war. But just by hearing the vibration conch shell sound, right? So they were shattered.
They were shattered. Yes, and it's Prabhupada is saying a couple of very good things in here. I think the last sentence: one who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord has nothing to fear, even in the midst of greatest calamity. Even the midst of greatest calamity, because fear. So courage does not mean absence of fear, right? It is awareness. It's the awareness of his presence that dwarfs fear. So it's fearlessness of a devotee is not because he or she is ignorant of the surroundings. No, the devotee knows what's happening around him, but the devotee is not unnecessarily dependent on the world. The fearlessness of a devotee comes due to the presence of Krishna that dwarfs that fear. Right? Krishna says this in the second chapter, Bhagavad Gita, verse number 40. Nihabhikrma nasho asti pratyavayo na vidyate swa alpam apiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Swa alpam. Even if you do little bhakti, it can remove mahato bhayat, even big fears out of your life. But that little bhakti has to be done with faith and sincerity. If you don't do it with sincerity, people can spend lives after lives. Oh, I've been chanting since birth. Yeah, that's good. You've been chanting. But have you developed faith on Krishna? Have you voluntarily, and when people, as devotees, when we come to bhakti, initially we cannot see Krishna, right? Initially we cannot see Krishna. How do we see Krishna? We see Krishna as our maintainer and protector. And we test that. Set goals for yourself in bhakti. Our temple, Baltimore temple, we set goals for book distribution. It's not like we oh yeah, it's very easy to achieve. No, we set goals and then we depend on Krishna. We say, Krishna, this is what we're going to do this year. Please help us. And that removes the fear of our heart. Right? So we see Krishna as our maintainer and protector. And that's what's removed the fear So when we set goals and we depend on Krishna, and when we achieve those goals, then we have more faith on Krishna, and that cycle keeps going, and then our faith keeps expanding. Right? So yes, so having faith on Krishna can get rid of the biggest calamities, and we have to teach ourselves. It's a conscious thing that you have to do every day, that you don't get trapped into the false confidence of the materialistic. Every materialistic is fearful at the bottom of their heart, but they show confidence as if they are strong like no one else, right? The uh, problem with this world is that the foolish people are very confident and the intelligent people are doubtful. We have to get rid of the doubt, right? And why do we have doubt? Because we don't think we are worthy. Worthiness, the word is worthiness. Right? You have to have faith in that you are something. You don't have to be somebody. You already are somebody. And where does that somebody come from? That you are Krishna's. So, right? You have to tell yourself every day that no matter what gets done and how much is left undone, I'm still enough. Right? It's going to bed at night thinking, yes, I'm imperfect. I'm vulnerable. And sometimes I'm afraid also, no doubt. But that doesn't change the truth that I'm also brave and worthy of love and belonging because I'm Krishna's. How can somebody be unworthy or afraid or unloved if he or she belongs to the smartest, the richest, the most handsome guy in this whole creation, Krishna? Right? So you have to make an account of all the things that help you build faith and practice those things regularly. Write them down. This thing gives me faith. This service gives me faith. This verse gives me faith. This chapter of Bhagavatam gives me faith. And read it again and again and build your faith on that. So yeah, we probably took a sidetrack there, but so Prabhupada is telling us that Pandavas had confidence in Krishna, and that's what we all have to build, right? And the confidence is built from our own experience and realizations. Your personal realization is going to be your ultimate evidence. Yeah, you can go and check with scriptures, but you have to see it for yourself. You have to go back to the basics. You do good rounds, you read Bhagavad Gita, and then you'll see your faith growing, your confidence growing. Right? So you'll see that Krishna will speak directly to you. This will give all of us confidence. Okay. Was there a comment or something? Okay. 20th verse. Bharti Mataji, you want to go ahead? Try 20th?
Yes, Prabhuji. अथ व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा धार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वज प्रवृते शस्त्र संपाते उद्यम्य पांडव ऋषिकेशं तदा वाक्यम् इदम् महीपते. At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrow. O king, after looking at the son of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words. Should I read purport too, Prabhuji?
Yeah, it's a short one. Please go ahead.
Okay. The battle was just about to begin. It is understood from the above statement that the son of Dhritarashtra were more or less disheartened by the unexpected arrangement of military force by the Pandavas, who were guided by the direct instruction of Lord Krishna on the battlefield. The emblem of Hanuman on the flag of Arjuna is another sign of victory, because Hanuman cooperated with Lord Ram in the battle between Ram and Ravana, and Lord Ram emerged victorious. Now both Ram and Hanuman were present on the chariot of Arjuna to help him. Lord Krishna is Ram himself, and wherever Lord Ram is, his eternal servitor Hanuman and his eternal consort Sita, the goddess of fortune, are present. Therefore, Arjun had no cause to fear any enemies whatsoever. And above all, the Lord of the senses, the Lord Krishna, was personally present to give him direction. Thus, all good counsel was available to Arjuna in the matter of executing the battle. In such a auspicious condition arranged by the Lord for his eternal devotee lay the sign of assured victory.
Okay. Thoughts, Mataji?
Okay, so first of all, the Hanumanji, Ram, Krishna is a Ram, and Hanumanji were present on his Arjun's chariot. That is the one sign of victory. And goddess of fortune was also present there as a Sita, and therefore Arjun has no fear of any enemies. And Krishna himself, Lord of the senses, Rishikesh was present there with him. So that's...
Okay.
So, Krishna can advise Arjun what to do. So he was assured that he will have the victory.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so these verses, they're talking about the signs of Pandava's victory. Some of the things we've been talking about, right? We talked about different conch shells. They all of them had. Then there was the use of Madhava. We talked about it, right? So Madhava is Krishna, the husband of goddess of fortune. Then we talked about the transcendental shankhaus, right? Transcendental conch shells. And then there was this mention of Hridayani Vidayarat, which is hearts were shattered. And in this verse, we're talking about a very important sign is Kapidhwaja. So all these are signs of Pandava's victories. That's what we're looking at, right? So coming back to the verse, right? Hanuman, he came on the request of Bhim. There was this background story that when Bhim met Hanuman in the forest, and Hanuman revealed himself as he was Bhima's elder brother, because they both are coming from the demigod Vayu, the wind god, and so then Bhim requests Hanuman to come and support him, right? So he's Kapidhwaja, he whose flag was marked with Hanuman. So that's an important sign of victory that's coming in here, right? Yes, Shrikant.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
In this verse, I was curious, why did they use this word Rishikesh to address Krishna? Any significance of why Krishna is addressed by the name Rishikesh?
So in Rishikesham tada vakyam idam aha mahipate, right? O king, after looking at the sun, so Arjuna then spoke to the Lord Krishna those words. So here Prabhupada is not translating the word Rishikesh as the master of senses. He's saying unto Lord Krishna, right? So obviously the broader concept that Krishna is the master of senses is being highlighted here because this section is talking about the signs of Pandava's victories, right? So we end this section, verse 14 to 20 was about the and these verses that where Krishna is being established as the leader, and then all the people who are following him, they are also leaders. They are also like Prabhupada would always tell us that a devotee who's sincerely following Krishna is already successful. So similarly, anybody who's following the master of the senses and is accepting Krishna as the master of the senses is automatically successful. So the Pandavas have already won the battle. So that's why his name is being repeatedly mentioned as Krishna. In a couple of verses earlier, it was Madhava, and he's the goddess of he's the husband of the goddess of fortune. That's the word meaning of the Madhava word, Prabhupada translated as. So all these names in this section are specifically indicating towards him being as a leader, and all his followers who are accepting him as a leader, being assured that you are going to be successful in this battle. Was that helpful, Prabhu?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Yes.
You're welcome. Okay, so yes, so yeah, we see that, and we see. I mentioned to you that Arjun got his chariot from Agni Dev, right? There was also background story. I mean, I'm not good. If you all have read the Mahabharata, you will know the background stories. Arjun was, I think, he was burning down the Khandava forest on behalf of King of Agni Dev, and then Agni became very happy, and then he gave him a chariot, right? And that came adorned with the Kapidhwaja on them. So. And then Bhima meets Hanuman. He was going looking for a flower for Draupadi and so forth. So that goes in the background. But then the one thing was here which I wanted to highlight. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, right? So now, if you see, in one way, bringing Kapidhwaja and looking at the opposite enemy is giving this sense, right? That what did Hanuman promise Bhima when he met him in the forest? He said, I'll come and support you, and I will strike fear into the hearts of your foes by terrific yells. Okay, that was the assurance that Hanuman had given to Bhima, right? So now, if you see it, he's saying, the verse is saying, Dhartarashtran Kapidhwaja. So, and then Prabhupada translates Kapidhwaja as he whose flag was marked with Hanuman. So Arjun, whose flag is marked with the Hanuman, is looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra. So it's not just Arjun is looking at it. Hanuman is also looking at them, and that's what's shattering their heart. Just imagine Hanuman, through his yells, terrific yells, the scream like a monkey when the monkey shrieks. With those, he's going to shatter the hearts of the enemy. So that's why this combination of Kapidhwaja and looking at the enemies of and the sons of Dhritarashtra is being brought together. Okay, who wants to try the next verse? Anyone want to give it a try? This
Yeah, I
is
can, Prabhuji.
Who was this? Sorry, I didn't
This is
ask.
Shrikant, Prabhuji.
Shrikant, yes, please go ahead, Shrikant.
Okay.
21-22.
Yeah. Seneyo
Just 1 second, Prabhu.
Arjuna
Sorry.
Uvacha.
Just 1 second. Sorry to interrupt you. One thing I forgot to highlight. I'll highlight that here quickly. The verse 20, you will notice it has 6 lines to it. In contrast to the conventional four parts. So, to give you an understanding, the way the verses are clubbed, this is what Prabhupada did himself. Okay, all the verses are coming directly from Bhagavad Gita, no change there. But Prabhupada, just to stress on the essence of some verses, he would club them together. So this verse 20 is actually 1.5 verse. There are 4 parts, and then there are 2 parts again. Because Prabhupada is just clubbing everything together. I just want to, you'll see this in many chapters. There'll be 6 lines. Not a lot. I think 3 or 4 times it happens across Bhagavad Gita. But the reason is that Prabhupada is clubbing it because he feels that the essence is to be for these verses to be together. Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Arjuna Uvacha Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapayami Chuta Yavad Etan Niraksheham Yodhu Kaman Avasthitan Kairmaya Sah Yodhavyam Asmin Rana Samudyame. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the 2 armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms.
If you want to, you can read the purport. If not, Prabhu, that's fine too. You can share
No, I can read the
thought.
purport, Prabhu. I just wanted to get your direction. Okay.
Sure, go ahead.
Purport. Although Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of his causeless mercy, he was engaged in the service of his friend. He never fails in his affection for his devotees, and thus he is addressed herein as infallible. As charioteer, he had to carry out the orders of Arjuna, and since he did not hesitate to do so, he is addressed as infallible. Although he had accepted the position of a charioteer for his devotee, his supreme position was not challenged. In all circumstances, he is the supreme personality of Godhead, Rishikesha, the Lord of the total senses. The relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord, and similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. He takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees, assuming the advantageous position of ordering him, than he does in being the giver of orders. Since he is master, everyone is under his orders, and no one is above him to order him. But when he finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is the infallible master in all circumstances. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers, but he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhana, who was never agreeable to any peaceful negotiation. Therefore, he was very anxious to see who the leading persons present on the battlefield were. Although there was no question of a peacemaking endeavor on the battlefield, he wanted to see them again and to see how much they were bent upon demanding an unwanted war.
Hmm. Thank you. Your thought, Shru?
The key ones which I marked, Prabhuji, were that is that the devotee, that the Lord never fails in his affections for his devotees. I mean, that one struck with me. The other one was a relationship between the Lord and the servitor. That is, the servitor is always ready to render service, and similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render service. And the final one was the Lord seeks pleasure in devotee ordering him. I mean, what came to my mind is when a small child addresses their parent, parents takes pleasure even though they know they are their masters. So a similar Vatsalya relationship I was resonating with. Haribol.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, the Krishna takes pleasure when he gets the chance to serve devotees. And yeah, so he takes a lot of pleasure in that. And actually, Krishna becomes very happy when he sees somebody serving his devotees, right? So because for a pure devotee, Krishna is always wants. So the way is, a pure devotee does not want anything in return. The pure devotee is service for service sake. That's it. I don't want anything in return from you, Krishna. On the other hand, Krishna is very eager to give to such a pure devotee, and the pure devotee does not want it. So it's a very perplexing situation for Krishna. So when somebody comes and serves that pure devotee, Krishna becomes very happy with them, right? So that's why Krishna says, I think it's in Adi Puran, ye me bhakta jana partha, na me bhaktas shate janaha, mad bhakta nam chaye bhaktas, te me bhakta tamamata. Krishna even goes to say that it's not the people who are my direct devotees who are my actual devotees, but people who are the devotees of my servants are actually my devotees. It's Krishna goes to the extent of saying that. So yes, so he's very appreciative. He wants to serve his devotees. So he's ready to become an order taker for them. He's ready to take orders from them. He's become a charioteer for all of them. So the position of a charioteer is very, very symbolic in everybody's life. So Krishna is ready to even become a charioteer once we agree to follow him. Yes, Chulan Yatra.
Something that I have highlighted in this specific line is that I really underlined the word pure devotee because I feel like it's very easy to just misunderstand this statement, but it's very important to understand who really a pure devotee is.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes. It's not easy to find a pure devotee. And even if you find one, it's very hard to identify because we have such
Also to become one, I mean.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you. Yes, so here now here you will see that the mindset of Arjun is changing. And now you will see that from here onwards, you will see him as a weak person and he'll start making excuses why he doesn't want to fight and so forth. So and so Arjun is just acting in this way. He's not actually, he's just acting he's just like an actor and he's doing this for our benefit. So here it looks like it was an error of judgment for him. Yes, Deepti.
Um, didn't want to interrupt. I just want to point out one important point based on my understanding
Mhm.
in this purport is that Supreme Lord decided to be the charioteer of Arjuna,
Mhm.
but that does not change his supreme position,
Mhm.
and that holds true in the sense that whatever avatar or whatever form he takes, be it be a boar form, be it be a Vaman avatar or whatever, or even a charioteer, like his position always stays supreme, though he just decides to do that for the sake of the love of his devotees.
Hmm. Yes, it never. Yeah, his position as Bhagavan doesn't change, and he out of love, he's even ready to remove that vision of awe and reverence just so that he can have a loving relationship. But yeah, it doesn't change his position. Yeah, he still remains Bhagavan. Thank you. So yes, Arjun's is making an error of judgment here, right? He knew who was on the opposite army. He didn't have to go into the middle of the battlefield to see and all that. So, so um, it's okay to have an alternate vision. Okay, I just want to see who's on the other end. But if it triggers emotions that can compromise our performance, that's what we'll see is happening, right? That if let's say a judge has a case he's handling where his son is in the court is in the defendant position, so he needs to have an appropriate vision. He cannot make a correct decision because his son is there. So his emotions come in interfere. So Arjun is actually showing that, and he's going to show that further, that by bringing his emotions in middle, he's going to make wrong decisions. At least he'll try to think of making wrong decisions. Krishna will not let him do that, right? So it's very hard to adjust our vision when the emotions come into the picture. Arjun was the foremost fighter in the army, and now he was ready to give up his everything just so that, and he's saying, "Oh, I'll go into the forest and whatnot." So yeah, um, so yeah, that's what is happening here, right? So and another important thing is that even though Arjun made a mistake here, he's asking Krishna to take him to the center, right? Please draw my chariot between. It looks like he's making a mistake, but then he didn't compound it. He didn't let himself get further carried away by his feelings, right? So if you will see in the beginning of the second chapter, Krishna will surrender to Arjun. Sorry, Arjun will surrender to Krishna. But Arjun could have just continued to go downhill with his emotions and make a mess of everything. He pulls himself together and asks to Krishna for guidance. He wouldn't have found it easy to shift from an emotional state to an intellectually alert state, as was required for hearing the Bhagavad Gita. So, so you have to see that how Arjuna is just playing a role in this whole Leela of Krishna, because Krishna wants to speak the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is going to behave someday, and then Krishna will just come and fix him and speak his message, whatever he wants to do, right? So that's the important thing here, not to understand, right? We are on time. We are at 8:30. We'll pause here and continue next week. Anybody has any last minute thoughts?